Hi, my name is Richard Fisher. I am the publisher of Inside Unmanned Systems, and we are here with Tom Furey, Chief Executive Officer of Sagetech Avionics. Tom, welcome.
Richard, it's good to be with you. I appreciate it. Very
Sure.
excited to be here at Xponential.
Yeah. So we want to talk. The purpose of this discussion is we want to become educated about ACAS and your work.
Yep.
And what ACAS's role is in beyond visual line of sight operations, and the kind of necessity of having a safe beyond visual line of sight, capability overall within the national airspace. So, given where we are in terms of the build out, the BV loss kind of build out, we're all kind of, waiting for the rule. Not really. There's lots of work being done while that happens because, as we were talking earlier, FAA's got the kind of gold or platinum standard for aviation safety, and is a global leader, and is likely to remain so. So, notwithstanding some of the challenges in terms of the FAA's willingness to expedite these rules. Educate us on ACAS and where it fits in.
Okay, sure. First of all, you mentioned BV loss. I'll just go a step higher than that because I saw a graphic once, and I think it was a NASA graphic, or maybe I think it was FAA about a NASA graphic.
Sure.
But it showed ACAS as total airspace protection because ACAS, and I'm sure most of your viewers or readers are familiar, but in case you're not, right? So TCAS, Traffic Collision Avoidance System, TCAS 2 is kind of the standard for commercial aircraft for avoiding collisions with other aircraft, right? So, but it has certain applicability, and it's kind of based on the minimum airspeed the airplane needs to fly, its vertical rate of climb, and it can only it gives avoidance maneuvers to say, you're about to crash, climb, and the other guy descends, right? ACAS comes in, and it's applicable to a much broader range of aircraft. So ACAS X, and I shouldn't just say ACAS, because Europe has called TCAS ACAS forever. So ACAS X, which is Airborne Collision Avoidance System X, and then there's some type of variant on the X, is where it fits within the airspace. So there's an ACAS XA, which is the TCAS 2 replacement for commercial aircraft. There's an ACAS XO for special operations like parallel runways, etc.
Sure.
The ones that we focused on the eVTOL and unmanned space or uncrewed space, right, is ACAS XR, which is for rotorcraft. Now, importantly, this is the first collision avoidance algorithm, and we didn't invent ACAS, right? ACAS is funded by the FAA's TCAS program office. It's kind of written, invented, and tested in the lab by MIT Lincoln Laboratories and Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab, I think, right? So they're doing that. We're implementing it in a low swap, effective way. But ACAS XR is the first time there's really been a collision avoidance algorithm built that is built for rotorcraft, right? That's what the R is for, rotorcraft. So now, instead of climb or descend, it gives commands. If it determines there's a potential collision, it gives commands to climb and turn left, or even slow down or speed up. So what's important about it and how it fits into BV loss is there's that XR for larger rotorcraft, including unmanned, right? There's also XU, which is for large fixed-wing unmanned aircraft. So that's your Reapers and your Group 3 300-pound aircraft that are doing long linear infrastructure inspections. And then there's SXU, which is for smaller aircraft that may be flying in UTM as well, right? But all of these things take into account incoming ADS-B traffic. It's called cooperative traffic. And then also, if there's a non-cooperative sensor either on board or fed from a ground station, like a radar system, a camera system, an acoustic system, it feeds that together, gives the aircraft a picture of the airspace around it that's consolidated from all those sensors, and then provides warnings if there's a potential collision, and then provides guidance if there's an imminent risk of collision. And that guidance could also be fed directly to an autopilot. So right now, we give that guidance to a pilot if there's a pilot in the aircraft. We give it to the operator if there's a pilot in command of an uncrewed aircraft. It can go right to the autopilot. This is what can enable autonomy beyond line of sight, right? If the aircraft can detect and avoid other aircraft and can take the appropriate action to avoid a collision in a predictable way. So that's why ACAS is important. So everybody knows you're going to turn right and climb.
Right.
You don't both try and avoid each other and end up crashing anyway.
Right.
So that's a long answer to a short question, but that's kind of how I see what ACAS is and why I think it's critically important for beyond visual line of sight flying.
So as you describe it, Tom, I got to tell you, it sounds too good to be true. I mean, it sounds like a really smart capability, something that seems to be an obvious solution to a very obvious need. What's been the constraint to seeing quicker adoption, in your opinion?
Well, and I don't necessarily think we could have quicker adoption yet, because the FAA is still
broader adoption.
finalizing
finalizing
the algorithms.
Sure.
The other so from an ACAS.
And let's talk about that a second.
Yeah.
I mean, they're finalizing the algorithm, so
Yep.
obviously there's lots of data sets out there. They're flying betas all the time. They're taking those data sets, they're tweaking, using ML and massive computational power to really understand and analyze all those data sets. How long does that kind of R&D going to take before they've got a fully baked solution that can be deployed in the way that you described?
What we're told so far lines up with where our industry is kind of going. So the ACAS SXU, there are versions of that can work. Right? So that's for small aircraft. ACAS XR still continues to be finalized. It's worked through RTCA, and they're writing the MOPS, the performance standards for it. I think the latest we think is maybe late 25-ish that'll be done, and then the FAA will put in place the following year, and maybe 26, a TSO on that, and that's about when we'll have products ready. So that's about 2 years from now, and I think seeing commercial aircraft using it beyond line of sight with a certified product that can help certify an aircraft or get long-range exemptions, I think that's pretty good timing. That's pretty realistic timing. I don't think we should pretend that it might happen next week.
Understood.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you said the testing, right, the development of the algorithm has occurred mainly through modeling and simulation in lab, and it's awesomely robust, right?
Yeah.
But we're working with customers with these algorithms in the air to collect even further data sets about how it really performs in the air.
Yeah.
And those things will happen, and I think will enable us to have this these super reliable means. The other driving factor, and then if we're talking about UAS, right, drones, so you take that ACAS, which is ADS-B input,
Right.
but you've got to replace the pilot's vision.
Sure.
So you add in a radar system, a camera system, an acoustic, a non-cooperative sensor. That technology continues to evolve. So right now we've got some companies that make pretty small radars that we're working on filtering in the air, get rid of ground clutter. They have range of 1 mile and 1.5 miles. I think we'll also see ranges, resolutions, and ground clutter continue to improve to get a really good solution as we move into the future.
Wow, that's a lot, and that's a lot of kind of, innovation and driving size, weight, power out of the solutions, and at the same time,
just on that, well, I'll tell you, a customer said, "Hey Tom, can you guys do an ACAS for us?" And here's where we've got it designed in, and it was for a 70-pound box in this big cube, and we're like, "Well, what are you going to do with the other 69.7 pounds?" Because here's our thing, right? And they're like, "I guess we'll need ballast."
Wow.
Or extra fuel. I mean, it's a bit of an anecdote, but it's a true story.
It's nice to be the guys not adding a lot of drag. Huh?
Right, exactly.
There you go. Well, speaking of creating a lot of drag, that's all the time we have for now. We want to thank our guest, Mr. Tom Furey. It's been a pleasure, as always.
I've enjoyed it. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, good stuff. And if people have more, want to continue the conversation with you, Tom, or your colleagues at Sagetech Avionics, how do you get in touch?
Sagetech.com, SAGETECH.com. There's contact us. LinkedIn, you've got Tom Furey. You can connect with me directly, and there's many ways.
Excellent. Great. Thanks so much. That's all the time we have for
much.
now. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.